Oh, hi there. Welcome to another video. Today I need to be really quick because it's late at night and I'm recording because I have no other time to record. Alright, let's be quick. So this game I just played today a few hours ago, maybe 1 or 2 hours ago. It says 2 hours ago here, but anyway. It was in the 4 NCL. Let's rush quickly through the opening because I only have 15 minutes of time. D4, D5, and the boring old London system. We all love it, right? Knight F3, Knight F6, E3. My idea of E3 is to prevent this Knight H5. And look, I'm still stopping Knight H5. And now was his chance to play Knight H5, which he didn't do. He castled instead. After Knight E5, C5, C3, takes. This was a turning point in the game. The engine about 1 hour ago said bishop takes e5 was the best, but d takes e5 is clearly much better because it attacked with tempo, forces him to make a decision. And now I played a surprising move, maybe not surprising, queen h5, threatening his checkmate. He played f5, trying to block the bishop, so now there's no more checkmate. Then I played the smart move g4, and that was the best move according to the engine. If he takes, then let's see what happens. Check, because now the bishop opens up. Then after this move, is checkmate. Let's go back. So he went g6, queen here. One really cool variation is what happens if he takes. Well, what I do is takes, check, and then the very surprising move. What was it again? Can you guess it? The answer is rook g1. Just kidding. It's actually h3. What a funny move. The immediate threat is taking and giving checkmate. But what happened there? Sorry. But after g3, well, the thing is check and rook g1, and suddenly he's completely busted. So let's go back to what happened in the game. Queen e8, defending this pawn. Very logical by him. Takes, knight f3. Basically, I missed a completely winning position. I should have gone h4, h5, rook g1, but my brain was all out for developing pieces, not pawns, so I played knight f3. And then he went queen f7. Just trying to protect everything, perhaps play queen g7 later. Once again, h4 would have been good, but instead I played rook g1. Giving up an advantage, still a big advantage, but not as big as what I wanted. Rook to e8, castle's long, knight f8, and now finally after like 10 moves I play h4. Queen g7, bishop b5, attacking the rook, attacking this, forcing him to make one decision. Then h5. These next few moves are basically me playing perfect moves recommended by the engine. Bishop e6. I took, then he took back. Well, one interesting variation is takes, and obviously I take back, but what happens hypothetically if I played this move? Well, it's a double check. He has to play takes, and after I take his queen, he takes back, because it's a free piece. And after rook g2, I have a checkmate threat, so his only defense is knight g6, check, and retreating the king. But after this move, I'm attacking his knight, so he has to defend it, and then e6, boom, is completely winning. If he takes this, then his bishop is deflected from the defense of the knight and I can take. And if he comes back, once again, I can remove the defender of the knight and I win the knight. And I'm a pawn up and there's actually checkmate in a few moves. If king here, then immediate checkmate, and if king here, then let's just rush through it. Knight here, and rook h1 is coming soon. So let's go all the way back to this position. He played knight takes g6, and then I finally decided to swap off queens. Knight g5, attacking the bishop. What a good move. He's forced to go all the way back, and after rook h1, my idea was just to get my 2 rooks in the king side, bring my bishop here, attack everything against the king. Also, black's big problem in this game was these pieces, especially that rook that I highlighted in red. It literally didn't move the whole game, and you'll see what happened at the end. d4, very smart move, I guess. Opening up this, opening up maybe the d file and potentially the c file. Also, he wants to take these. What happened was I played rook g1. By the way, one thing I just noticed: if I take, and take, suddenly I lose my bishop. And I almost fell for that during the game, but instead I moved my rook. He went a6, pushed my bishop back, and then after d takes c3, I played bishop takes f5. Check, and now, I know most of you greedy people out there would take this. Don't do that, okay, that's too greedy. I played the calm king b1. Even better was king c2, and let me explain why. Because in the next two moves, black's gonna get his rook in there. And if my king's here, he stops that. You'll see what I mean in a few moves. We swapped off on g5, and now my bishop attacks his rook, so he went all the way to the 7th rank, or my 2nd rank. But protecting this, perhaps threatening these kind of pawn advances, I had to put an end to this, so I gave check. And then, I played bishop back. Really weird move, trying to reroute it into this diagonal and give check. And he took, after check, and king here. I would really love for you to pause the video, try and find the winning move here. Are you ready to be amazed? Well, there's actually two winning moves, but I'll look at the slightly worse one first. This is the slightly worse one. Bishop takes g8. The idea is after king takes g8, now you must find this move to be winning. Rook takes. What a nice move. After takes, rook check, and his king moves, and you see that his rook is gone. Bye bye. And then I'm up a piece for what? For 2 pawns? Yeah, that's winning. It's not as easy as I would think though, because he still has counterplay here. Now you're going to see a key difference, okay? Let's go back. The second winning move here is what I played. What a nice move. Rook takes g6. Well, now he has two main options. Bishop takes b3 and h takes g6. If he does this, then I sacrifice my rook. And after he takes check and takes. Now one key difference between this line and the other line is, so that this is the other line, this position, where my pawn is here. And this is the other line, where was it again? Where my pawn is here. So the difference is, back there, he has this threat. Next, let's just say if I played some random moves, in the next few moves, black can get a really steady attack with check and promotion, and I'm completely screwed. Obviously I would easily defend with rook there, but I'm really insecure when it comes to defending in these type of things. So, back here, now, this pawn and this pawn are completely cut out from the game. You see that? Completely cut out. Which makes this pawn pretty much an isolated pawn. The rook is tied down to it, and if he tries moving his rook somewhere else, I take the pawn. Basically my plan is to keep that rook tied down here, to attack this pawn and attack that pawn, win the queenside pawns and win the game. Let's go back. What happens if h takes g6? Well, obviously I could do this and transpose to this line, remember this line, but obviously much better is to play rook h8, and I try and checkmate. He has two options. If king here, then check, and then once again the same skewer, and I'm 2 pieces up. Now if he sacrifices rook, I take this. I think he moves his king, and then after this he basically loses all his pieces. Look at this, and the next move I'm going to promote. So that's why bishop takes b3 loses, h takes g6 loses. In the game he tried to complicate things up with c4, and now you can see my clock here. He literally spent, what? It's 14? 3. Look, he spent 10 minutes on one move. For me, okay, I spent 1 minute, but he spent literally 10 minutes on one move to play c4. And then rook takes g8. How calm. You see that? Takes, and takes. And after this move, he unfortunately he resigned, because my threat is checkmate, Also, it's a skewer there, so there's no point in him playing on. What else is there to say? This is basically a similar variation to this one, I think, except what's the difference? Here we have no black bishop, and here, which one was it? I think is this one. We do have a black bishop and we have a pin. That's the main difference, I would say. So the game could have continued. King there, check, takes, and I'm completely winning. This is better than most of the variations that I just showed. Also, he could sacrifice his rook, like this, I think, sorry, like this. But then, after takes, the threat of checkmate. So he's in a mating that he has to move his king, check. And now, I threaten promotion. Before we end this video, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share this video to your friends, blah blah blah. Also, give me some feedback. Was this video good? Was it trash? Do you like this new layout of me just showing the board? Let's see what it would have looked like if I showed the whole thing. So, here you go. It looks really weird, but like, I didn't want to show this notation thing. It would give you all the answers to the puzzles and stuff, so I had to minimize it to just this board here. Hopefully you like that. I might do the same exact layout if you want me to in future videos. Anyway, bye, stay safe, have a great time, and make sure you just subscribe to my channel.